Good morning, AK. Welcome to another edition of The Den. I am Lee Butterfield, and I am here to walk you through all things that are the state of Alaska in this wonderful, wild world of education and sports and activities and all those other things that everyone's talking about all the time and wanting to do and get back to. But most importantly, we're all going to just leave those at the moment anyway, because it is just 2 days before break. And, well, I think for pretty much the entire state, but I'm going to get that clarified here in a minute by people who might know a little bit more than me. But one of the coolest things about all of this is that we are only 2 days away from school being out, and everybody all of a sudden is all about their grades. So we're going to bring that back down into the group down here. Welcome, crew. Welcome to 2 days. Ooh, it is looking festive in this space right now. It looks like we have some nice Christmassy and holiday-y stuff going on down there, including this beautiful Longhorn who's saying hello all the way from where are you guys at? You guys are in Argentina? We're in Texas. You guys sound so excited. I appreciate that you're coming with all that big Texas whooping hollering. We're in Texas. All right. Well, welcome everybody to the show. This is The Den. You're watching at theakden.org. If you have questions, or thedenak.org. And if you have questions, you can go to asktheden.org. We're going to kick it into gear here right away and just say welcome to the show, to the commish and the prez. Welcome. Good to see you. Oh, nice cup. That's a beautiful cup. And I'm wondering, Dr. Johnson, what's happening in the greater world of Alaskan education from your view?
Well, first of all, let me apologize that I did not get the memo for the stylish sweater notification today. So I'm not quite as stylish as the sweaters online. So apologize for missing that, but you're looking good. In terms of education, really, I think the conversation that's happening everywhere is about the vaccine, just because of the optimism and hope that brings. Just a couple things about the vaccine. So the distribution of the vaccine is really guided by a couple of different groups of people. One is a group of people at the CDC, the advisory committee on immunizations and how they're distributed, and so they send those vaccines out. Some of them go directly to the Department of Health and Social Services, but then some I think go out to tribes and others. And then in Alaska, there's it's called the Alaska COVID-19 Vaccine Allocation Committee, and that's a group of a bunch of health folks, doctors, pharmacists, chief medical officers around the state, and it's a pretty sizable group of people, and they look at all the data and decide where some of those vaccines are going, because the goal is to get the most vulnerable and the healthcare workers vaccinated, and then start vaccinating others in a way that will have the most impact in terms of slowing down the virus and getting things back to normal. So that's great news, and I know that some folks in the state have already received the vaccine. More and more will be getting it each day, and hopefully in 2021, things will start slowly getting back to normal and settling down, and we can look forward to being together with people that we haven't been able to see. And also, I think for all of us, loved ones that might be older or have health conditions, we can hope that they'll be in a safer situation because the vaccine's getting around and people are getting it. So I think that's the big conversation. Of course, Christmas break starting here in a couple days for most of the state, and I think people are ready for a break. And so I'm looking for an optimistic and hopeful 2021.
That's fantastic. Thank you. It's a lot of good. That was a lot. Everybody watching that. Remember, you can come back to the archive and watch that again. Pause it, write down your notes, let it go again. Pause it, write down your notes, let it go again. And kind of, exciting news. And again, we're at that weird space. You're seeing a lot of information roll around right now that we're in this very strange space where it's like everyone's kind of like feeling celebratory that this thing's coming up, and at the same time, like things are getting rowdy, and it's that kind of where those two are meeting, and this big intense moment of fire and ice. And ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard of Ragnarok? Yes, it's a story, ancient story about fire and ice clashing together in the end of all the reality. Never mind. Anyway, coming back to it. So Great. Thank you very much. Going over to Mr. Claymeyer. Mr. Claymeyer, again, talking to it from your perspective, too, being able to connect, the reason we have you guys on here so often and joining us and everything else is because you have access to a whole lot more people than we have access to. I mean, mind you, I have access to all 6 people watching right now. Hey, everybody out there, we love you. But on the other hand, you guys get the feedback from a larger group than we have really access to. So how are things looking from your view there, Mr. Claymeyer?
I'd say I'd echo the commissioner's comments. I think everybody's definitely ready for a break. This has been a long semester for students and for teachers. You talk a lot about how draining it can be to be in character for this show, right?
Teachers, no, this is who I am all the time. Don't worry about that.
Too much caffeine. Teachers are on stage like that as well, and on Zoom. It can be tiring to try to engage and be motivating and not necessarily have all the feedback that you would normally have when you're in person with people. That energy you get from kids feeds your own energy, right? And so that's a little bit more difficult to maintain that higher level of enthusiasm and excitement and passion when you're teaching. So I think people are definitely ready for a break. It was good to see the COVID numbers drop yesterday. I hope that's not an anomaly, a reporting anomaly. I hope that demonstrates that, when we mask up and limit our outings and limit our gatherings, that we can limit the spread of COVID. And I think that's a good thing. And I hope people continue that over break. We canceled our trip to go see our granddaughter in Spokane. And I can say the having the vaccine on the horizon made it tempting to go anyways. But who was it yesterday that said, the vaccine's the light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still in the tunnel. So we'll postpone our trip until maybe the summer or late spring if it's safe to go then. And in terms of school, I think this semester is going to be exciting. There are going to be more and more schools returning to in-person as they can safely. I think everybody is looking forward to that.
I mean, I know I'm looking forward to that. Are you guys looking forward to that? Well, that's good. That's fantastic. And who's that guest that Grace and Clara brought today? What's that guest's name?
That's Hamburger.
That's Hamburger. Hamburger, are you looking forward to it? Yeah, Hamburger's looking forward to it. That's fantastic. Good to meet you, Hamburger. It's really great that you could join us today. How have you been doing through all this vaccine stuff? Well, I've been a little stiff. Oh, well, I understand. That's a tough thing to deal with, And have you had any issues with it? No, my lungs are clear. Wait, no, I don't have lungs. Anyway, so it's all going fantastic down there for Hamburger, and we're really excited that Hamburger's having a great time, looking smooth, looking fun, and he's got that. Oh, see, just like every other student, when I start telling my jokes, his eyes just glaze over. Oh, all right. So, speaking of Christmas and all these things that are going on and wanting to get back together and everything, I thought this would be a great opportunity to ask you guys, what are some of the weird things that you see as weird in your kind of holiday traditions? Or is it that everything's perfectly normal and you've decided to define your life as normal and you will never share with us any of the weirdness? But just for a second, you crew, what is something, just one thing or two if there's a lot, because that's fun for me, and I'll use it as ammunition later. What are some of the weird things that you do for Christmas around your family or holidays or whatever it is that you're working on? Bria's got an idea. I can see her. She was nodding. She's like, yeah, that's weird, and that's weird, and that's weird.
Yeah. We make this thing called lefse.
Ooh.
It's kind of like a Norwegian, Scandinavian thin pancake thing. I don't really know how to describe it, but we always make it every year before the holidays.
It's potato pancake.
Mm-hmm. It's really good.
It's
and
yummy.
It's really fun to make, and it always takes up like a whole day, and the house always smells so good.
Oh yeah. As a Northwestern Lutheran raised boy, lefse was a large part of our lives during this season. You can tell there's some Montana to Midwest roots up in that family over there. So I got to ask you, I got to throw this. What do you put on your lefse? What do you put on your lefse?
I like to microwave it for like 30 seconds to get it warm and then do butter and sugar and then you roll it up like a burrito.
Butter and sugar in the burrito roll. Oh, yes.
Mhm.
It just
It's
the
the best.
sugar gets crunchy on your teeth
Yep.
after the softness of the left side. Oh. Do you also go to lutefisk dinners?
No.
Oh. Who in here knows what a lutefisk dinner is? Oh, none of you know lutefisk? Oh, your roots go not deep enough, my friends. Lutefisk is jellied whitefish. Okay, it's and the story behind the recipe for lutefisk is amazing. The story goes in Norway in the old days, you've heard Yarder son went out onto the beach and he hung his whitefish on his poles, and there was a volcanic eruption, and his whitefish was covered with ash and sea salt, and the brininess from the water mixed, and it jellied his whitefish, and he went out and he took a bite and he said, "Oh, it's not bad." And that's the story of lutefisk, and everyone's been eating it for centuries since then. It's horrifying, but wonderfully traditional. And here at the Den AK, we support all traditions, be they the eating of jellied rotted fish. Okay, so what are some of the other odd things that are happening in your kind of holiday celebrations? I think I just outed myself for the whole jar of jellied fish thing, but so what are some other ones? I know you got some weird ones. Seth, what's a weird one for you?
So I don't think it's weird, but like for Christmas Eve, we all anticipate. My mom anticipates our Christmas Eve present that we always get, but it's always the same thing. It's just pajamas, and usually like a snack pack of some sort. Because right after that, we watch A Christmas Story.
Oh, and speaking of which, this is the perfect time to say, Seth, what's happening this Friday at South Anchorage High School that you and your family can participate in your pajamas with your snack pack?
Well, on Friday, A Christmas Story is playing, and then
at what time?
9 p.m.
9 p.m. You can watch The
Yes.
Christmas Story at South Anchorage High School Drive-In at 9 p.m. on Friday?
Yeah.
And where could one get tickets to such an event?
popupdriveink.com.
No, yeah, popupdriveink.com. And I know right now Noah, who's running my chat today? Ben's rocking the chat. He's slamming it in there right now. He's like, oh yeah, I already got 18 tickets just for myself. Well, that's great that you guys do that. So I do have a real quick question for everyone in the room. Just a hand up is going to be fine. Who opens the presents Christmas Eve? And who opens the presents Christmas Day? And who opens some both? Okay, see, this is an ongoing battle in our home. Like my wife comes from a family that opens them on Christmas Eve. I argue that they have to be opened on Christmas Day. My father calls me a tyrant for that. And so we've had to make an adjustment to where some can get open Christmas Eve and some can get open Christmas Day. And then when I wasn't being raised Lutheran, was being raised Catholic, we would open them after midnight mass. And we would come home, and that's when Santa was there, when everyone else was at mass. And so that was always fun for me. It was like, man, Santa's a terrible Catholic, Dad. It was just horrible because he was skipping mass to get presents to everybody. That's how it went. And so what are some other weird ones that we got going on? I know, Maddie, you have to have a weird one. You live in like the greatest like wooden house on the planet, so there's got to be a good weird one happening down there. And it's in Girdwood.
Trying to think of a good one. We always let my dog open one of her presents on Christmas Eve.
There you go. Okay, so this brings up another interesting question. Who gives their pets presents? Do you let them open them? No? Do you open them for them? Do you ever get in a fight with other people in the house over who gets to open the present for the animal? No, that's where you draw the line on weirdness. It's enough that you wrap a present for an animal, but you're not going to fight over who opens it. Oh, this is amazing. Bria's over there like, I wonder what I could get my turtle. He's actually thinking about it. I've never thought about getting the turtle a present. I think it should be a little red bandana and a sigh. That's what you should get your turtle. A little red bandana and a sigh. Okay, so last one, John. Oh no, I'm gonna. John, what do you got? I know you got a weird one.
Honestly, I can't think of anything. Our grandparents come over like a week before Christmas to give us presents because they don't want to deal with us on Christmas.
His audio's bad, but he said something about his grandparents coming over and making him chase a car in the cul-de-sac as they dragged the dog's present and the kids fight over who opens it. I think that's what I had come across. Clara and Grace, how about you? What do you got?
We are disappointingly normal. I'd say that recently, like in the past few years, I've been like baking something complicated so that we can have something to eat while we're opening presents on Christmas morning. So like I made kolaches one year. I've been making like crystalline. That's what I'm making this year. So and we also drink apple cider. Whenever we dress the
A really interesting recipe is one that I will send you guys later, and you can hand it off to your pops, and it'll be a fun one to make and easier to make than complicated. But I want to jump in and say, like, you talk about all these complicated recipes you make, and I want to ask a question, too, because you seem to always be talking about some kind of German pastry or cookie thing that you are making. What is the affinity there?
Something.
What is...
You just cut out.
Everyone be quiet and listen to them talk about them cutting out.
Hey. No, you are. Yeah, what'd you say?
Oh, no, I was just saying that we heard you loud and clear that you guys like to get a giant vat of rendered lard and get all the cracklings up and make some wonderful crackling cookies. And that is super exciting. We're happy for you. And I was asking because you always seem to be making some kind of intense, like, German cookie every time you talk about cooking. And so I'm wondering, is the affinity, like, is it because you speak German? Is it German heritage? Is it because you're just obsessed with, like, foods that just are difficult to make and densely delicious?
I really like making foods that are hard to make. And I bake, like, twice a week. And probably whenever I am talking about baking, it's like I bake for German sometimes. So, what else have I talked about complicated German recipes?
All the time. Everybody nod your head that this is all the time. All the time.
I do bake a lot.
Yeah, Elliot, how about you? What do we got some weird stuff, buddy?
So, besides just dressing up and going all out for the spirit days at South, we have a thing where Christmas morning we call our family, and it's a race to say Christmas gift, and the first one to say it wins. And if you lose, you have to send them an extra Christmas gift that the person will receive like a week later whenever it arrives.
So, I mean, does it ever turn into, like, blood feud? Like, are you guys, like, dipping your hands in glue and broken glass before it's time to, like, dial up the phone? What's up, man?
There are some heated arguments over who said it first.
Really? Do you record it and then go back and watch it frame by frame?
We have not done that, but I'm sure somebody in my family has.
New tradition this year.
And if I lose, I just won't keep the recording.
Oh, there you go, right? You would destroy it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I am not a crook, right? So it's perfect for everything that's going on. Ben, let's kick it up a notch. What do you got that's weird, my friend, besides sitting in a dark room? By the way, I'm just going to take a side note here. It's really, what time is it in Texas right now?
10:21.
10? That is some bright sunshine, and I'm a little bit jealous. And looking at Ben's, like, sad light lighting up half his face in his paleness of the Alaskan winter, I'm sure he's jealous too. All right, Ben, tell me, what's a weirdness going on in your household during the holidays?
Well, since you brought it up, we do let our dog open presents. When she was like a really, really little puppy, it was like right when we had first got her, when it was Christmas time. And so whenever like we're opening presents, whether it's like a birthday or Christmas or something, she just gets like super, super excited. And we have to have like a present or like a biscuit or something that we wrap for her. So she'll just like go off and eat that and leave us alone for 5 minutes.
Okay.
But it's kind of funny, and that we do let her like open all the presents even though they're not for her.
So, okay, did you have to train the dog to open the present?
She just like sticks her nose in it and like ruffles it around.
And if it's food that's wrapped in wrapping paper, do you have to stop the dog from also eating the wrapping paper?
I don't think she would eat wrapping paper. She's a lab, so she eats a lot of things, but I don't think she would just like tear it up and eat it. She just goes for the food.
And does she remember from one holiday to the next that this is what you do with this thing covered in shiny paper? Or do you have to convince her every time?
No, there's like, there'll be presents out and she'll just get like super excited and run around and stuff.
And do you have to stop her from opening everybody else's?
It hasn't gotten to that yet.
It
but-
will. It will. Okay, kick it over to Peyton. Besides sitting with your legs straight and your knees not bent while video gaming, what strange family traditions do you have during the holiday season?
I don't think they're really strange, but we have every morning. My mom always makes cinnamon rolls, and the glaze is so good. It's so good.
Look at him! Look at him! He's doing the whole he can feel it all around. He
Dude,
did one of
it's
these.
so
He's
good.
It's so good.
It's perfect.
This is beautiful. That's like those weirdos that are addicted to what's that donut shop that turns on the light and everyone turns into little crazy people?
Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme, yeah, that's the thing that's the reference I get from people who are you say Krispy Kreme to them, and they're it's that's apparently your mom has found the secret in the glaze.
Awesome. And then I'm part of that bandwagon. We open one Christmas gift on Christmas Eve, and then open the rest on, not Thanksgiving, Christmas.
So the adults in the room, we're not going to get into each of your individual weirdness because it's just known by now that by the time we get to our age, everything we do is weird according to everyone else on the planet. So I guess got a couple simple questions, and this is an adult poll only. You do not get to participate unless you're 18 years of age. Is there anyone out here? Is that Bria? Bria's the only one rocking it. Okay, Bria gets to participate. Ben gets to participate. Everyone else, nah. All right, so here we go. Adults in the room, how many of you when you were children would shake the box to try and figure out what was inside and guess ahead of time and see if you were right, if that was a thing that would happen in your house, right? No, just Bria, you didn't shake the box? I shook the box. And how many of you could tell, how many of you ever had that year where your parents were just dumbfounded that you knew that every box was Legos, right? They have a certain sound, right? And then how many of you got to be an adult and did the same thing and shouldn't have because it was a nice set of crystal glasses? Yeah, don't shake your presents once you get to adulthood, people. It doesn't turn out well at all. All right, so thanks for sharing your weirdness with us. There was a lot of weirdness, folks. It was pretty awesome. Go and make sure you all go get some lefse, throw some lutefisk on it, and then some butter and sugar and wrap it up, warm it up in the microwave. Your house will smell great, I promise. But we're going to kick it over to think about some of the other community events that have gone on. We were super South Anchorage High School, and the Den in particular, was super proud to be able to support Hanukkah on Fire at South Anchorage High School, put on by the Anchorage Jewish campus this last Sunday. And you can watch all the festive events that went on, including some epic fire juggling, and may I add, some epic editing and cutting that was going on with that crew, because they were able to get some beautiful shots with that fire juggler. So please, go to the link in the chat, which is being put there right now by Ben, who was running the cameras, by the way, as one of our fantastic camera ops. And at the edit table, Grace and Elliot were just popping those shots like you would not believe. Everyone masked up and social distance and came out and was able to actually have that experience that is so valuable to us as a class. So I really appreciate all of you being there. I appreciate the community for supporting the event, and I appreciate the event itself for having something that was safe for people to participate in their cars with their radios, using that screen, and really get people together. Being able to witness a shared experience like that was pretty awesome. For myself, I can't speak for all of you that were there, but I can speak for myself that it was awesome to see so many people coming together and being able to celebrate. In reality, a festival of lights in a time of intense darkness, both outside in the Alaska darkness as well as the darkness of being isolated a lot lately. So I thought that was super cool. And we're interested here at the Den, if you're watching out there at either live or in the archive, if you know of other events that are going on that you'd like to get the word out about, please let us know at asktheden.org or in the live chat or in the comments if you're watching the archive later in the day. If there are other events that are going on that are safe, that people can get together in a safe way and kind of celebrate just togetherness in the holidays and what that means, let us know if you have a community organization that's putting something on like that within your community, and we'll get the word out, because we have a fantastic following on our Instagram at SAHS The Den. You can follow us too at SAHS The Den. Man, I tell you what, if it wasn't for the ugly face and the terrible personality, I'd be a great YouTube star with how well I can plug this stuff. I'd be just amazing. And so, speaking of which, if you don't have plans already this weekend, again, we have some great shows this weekend over at South. What are the shows that are playing this weekend again, Seth?
So, like I said, Friday at 9 p.m., A Christmas Story. And then Saturday at 8 p.m., or 6 p.m., my bad, the Dr. Seuss, The Grinch, the animation. And then at 9 p.m. is the Venom.
Venom, yeah. We're going to break the mold a little bit. It's not a Christmas movie. No, Venom is not a Christmas movie. Unlike another action film that will remain unnamed that is indubitably a Christmas movie, Venom is not a Christmas movie, but Venom is a birthday present to my eldest child. I'm not going to lie. It is Jade's birthday on Saturday. Happy birthday to Jade. I'm super proud of you. You are one of the best human beings I've ever met in my entire life. I cannot believe you're related to me at all. And so Venom is that kind of Christmas present. So come out, join me, and watch Venom on Saturday. Make sure you join your family and go watch Christmas Story on Friday. That is a tradition. Many people have not seen Christmas Story on a big screen. That came out, 1983, 1984? So even myself, just to date myself a little bit, I was only 2 or 3 when that was on the big screen, so I think it's pretty awesome. This will be my first time seeing it on a big screen. I'm very excited. How about you? Everyone excited? I mean, Hamburger's excited. Very excited. Just best show ever. Best show ever. So, anything else for the good of the order there in the Den crew? What do you got for us? News, information, happiness, the like. Okay. Everybody take care of yourselves. I miss you all. I'm excited. Have a wonderful holiday. I will not see you again until January on here on the Den. So, you out home, thank you so much for joining us. This is our last show for the season until we get back in January. We are so glad that you join us every week at the Den AK, thedenak.org. We would not be here if it weren't for your valuable sponsorship, and you smash that like button, subscribe, tell your friends, share the link, and let them all know that this guy will never get a big contract on YouTube. So, hey, happy holidays. Hold everybody close. Enjoy and celebrate.